a KQED television production.
Another umami bomb. Umami bomb.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by Total Wine & More offers over 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits with specialists on hand to provide advice on any item. Now open in Mountain View, Pleasant Hill, and Fremont.
La Tour Angèle Artisan Oils, French-inspired and handcrafted in Northern California. La Tour Angèle creates natural, healthy cooking oils that add new flavor to everyday dishes. Sutter Health CPMC, investing in community care for more than 150 years, including 2 new smart hospitals. Your city, your hospital. CPMC2020.org.
Oakland International Airport. Now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Mattress systems from European Sleepworks, working to improve comfort and wellness for over 40 years. At Adeline and Ashby in Berkeley. Online at sleepworks.com.
Natural and engineered stone, designer tiles. IRG has over 250 choices and 10,000 slabs. IRG in Brisbane and Dublin, and at marblecompany.com.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests, and each one recommends one of their favorite spots, and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. This week, blogger and cookbook author Jerry James Stone is a vegetarian who immerses himself in all things culinary. He searches far and wide for meals that are not only worthy to write about, but possess that special something. And food salesman Frank Giovanni peddles Italian delicacies to restaurants up and down the coast. At home, however, he has a passion for baking bread in his wood-fired oven. It's all about quality ingredients for him. But first, occupational therapist Anne-Marie Rossi coaches recovering patients. But when she needs a little therapy, she finds solace in the fragrant aromas and complex flavors of her hidden in plain sight San Francisco spot, Jannah-Baghdad by the Bay.
My daughter, which is I love so much, she asked me to call the restaurant after her name, Jannah, which is mean paradise. And I really like her cane and his columns. And he called it San Francisco Baghdad by the Bay. I am from Iraq, Baghdad, so I thought I combine these together. My name is Yahya Salih, chef and owner of Jannah Restaurant Baghdad by the Bay. This is the only restaurant you can have Iraqi influenced by California. Back home, we have whole pot and everybody sit around and eat. So I reinvented first. I made it individually. The second thing, I add California sauce and California fresh vegetable. The eye first eat, and then the mouth. So the presentation is very important too. My beautiful wife, Wafa, which is in charge of me and the restaurant. She manages, she takes care of the children, she does the pastry, and I am so glad I have her. I hope they would remember Jannah as it means paradise.
Now, Anne-Marie, before we kick off with talking about Jannah, I just want to say we're doing something a little different. I'm sharing a cocktail with you. Now, this is a Pyrenees cocktail.
Chin Chin.
Chin Chin, all right.
Salud.
This is a brandy-based cocktail with a very secret ingredient, a little pistachio oil on it. Isn't that delicious? Take a taste. This kicks off the restaurant in such a great way. And actually, you all can find the recipe at our website. So check it out. Isn't that good?
Delish.
Very good. All right, now you can talk about Jannah.
I am very privileged to have Jannah within walking distance of my home. And I cannot stop eating the salmon fattoush. It's about 5 pieces of salmon around a bed of lettuce that's created with greens, mint, cilantro, and the different variety of greens gives it a punch of flavor. So that's my go-to.
How did you start, Jerry?
You know, I started off with the hummus because I don't know, I just, no matter where I am, I try to start off with hummus.
Right.
So I started off with that.
Familiar dishes.
And it was great. It was creamy. It wasn't too garlicky, too much lemon. It was just really on point. The bread, I don't know if they make it there, but it was delicious. It was very well made. So
Served with that little oil dip with the sumac and sesame seeds?
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, really, really wonderful. And still kind of fresh, even though it was an oil dip. Everything was really, really nice.
And what about you, Frank?
Well, you know, I wanted to venture out. The service person was an absolute doll. Not a lot of fluff, but she helped us out, and I asked her, honest to God, the thing that I've been thinking about since this restaurant is the eggplant in pomegranate sauce. I'm telling you, I would go there just for this. So it's Japanese eggplant that was, you know, charred but yet buttery inside. And then when it was brought to the table, it had this brown, warm, buttery gravy. And it was sweet and velvety. I called it pomegranate gravy until I asked, and they said it was pomegranate juice, garlic, and cream. That's
done.
it. I'm done.
Done.
I'm done. And
You're Italian, you're a sauce guy.
I know, and I'm telling you, you know, I was trying to describe the flavor, and the only thing I could come up with was a charred marshmallow.
Ooh.
I know, from eggplant, right?
And are you familiar with Iraqi food? I mean, this is
Somewhat. So my mom's full-blooded Armenian, so like there's a lot of similarities in the cuisine.
Sure.
And I will admit that this restaurant was a little bit of a math for me, but maybe it was I ordered the wrong things. I'm guessing I didn't get anything that tasted like marshmallow for one. But yeah, but it was a little bit of a hit or miss on some of the dishes.
And so what were some of the hits for you?
So I had the vegetarian dolmas, which like from an architectural standpoint was amazing. So it had this giant roasted tomato in the middle, and the dolmas had been sort of wrapped around it. It was very just beautiful to look at. And they didn't use traditional grape leaves. I think they used like a chard or something, or, you know, it was the stuffing that was a little flat for me. I did love the service though. Like the lady that I had she actually kind of reminded me a lot of like my mom. She would come by and make sure that I finished everything before she took it away, you know, so I'm used to that.
Right.
Yeah,
and is it easy to, as a vegetarian, to eat in this restaurant?
Very, very easy. Yeah. Lots of options, and I think also the things that were maybe not typically vegetarian could be made vegetarian, so it felt very flexible. I also had this, it was actually really interesting. They kind of did their falafel like a pizza. Right. So when it came out, I was like, what did I order? I thought I got falafel, and maybe I mispronounced it or something, but it's laid out like a pizza, fried. They cut it just like a pizza, and then it's topped with like, you know, diced veggies like peppers, onions, tomatoes. Well done, amazing. I could order a couple of those. I did order a couple of those.
It's like a party on a plate.
Right, it's, yeah.
Frank, what about you? What after you had this amazing experience,
Which
where
I'm
did it go?
still wahing about. You walk in, the wall is lined with, I think it's Iraqi or Middle Eastern wines. So I asked for a tip. What kind of wine should we have? She said, we can have lamb. And I said, yes. She goes, red. Okay, well, that's where we went. Right?
You're gonna have lamb?
Yeah, you're gonna have lamb? Bread. Okay, so that's what we did. So we had a nice bottle of Malbec from Argentina, and then we ordered the kebab with chicken and beef, and then the large hind shank of lamb. The portion was very large, covered with this caramelized onion, red pepper, and eggplant sauce. Very delicious. And the lamb, succulent, does not do it justice. You know, you didn't need a knife. You could put your fork in it and pull out these nice big chunks. It was very good.
For sure. The phyllo dough plates, they have 4 different options, and some of the sauces are a little more tangy. The apricot.
I had that sauce. The sauce was on point. I mean, roasted peppers, cumin, delicious. I mean, I think they're a sauce place based on what you said. I did not taste marshmallow.
Gravy, Jerry.
There was no marshmallow. But
That's going to be the theme.
right.
The marshmallow
I'm going to go back.
theme.
Like, where's
Going
the
there tonight.
But the sauces were like, I was definitely loving that.
Right.
Did you have any room for dessert?
Of course. So we saw a plate of baklava at the next table. It was 4 diamonds of baklava swimming in like a blonde vanilla sauce with streaks of raspberry. We realized it was rice pudding. And the odd thing is that the rice pudding was not sweet, but the baklava was very sweet and very good. But the contrast together, it really worked. It was really nice.
They have their sauces down.
I think
Marshmallow
you're right.
and all that, whatever, but they have it down.
All right, Anne Marie, this is your spot. Give us a quick summary.
So if you're looking for a restaurant to please a crowd with lots of different palates, go to Jannah. You won't be disappointed.
All right, and Jerry?
I think it's definitely worth a revisit. I apparently ordered the wrong things, and yeah, I look forward to trying it again.
Okay, and Frank?
Comfortable, tasty Mediterranean food, go for the eggplant, come back for the lamb. I'm going tonight.
All right, if you would like to try Jannah-Baghdad by the Bay, it's located on Fulton at Masonic in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-567-4400. It's open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Reservations are accepted, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $20. Traveling throughout Thailand, Jerry sampled local specialties from street vendors. His spot serves up seasonally prepared home cooking with lush curries and house-made jams that capture the spirit of the food he tasted on his treks. In San Francisco at Khao.
Gin Khao means eat rice, literally. But in Thailand, rice is a stand-in for all food. So when we say Gin Khao, colloquially it just means to eat or let's eat. We can say let's Gin Khao. My name is Pim Teshamon Vaivit. I'm the chef proprietress of Gin Khao Thai Eatery in San Francisco. Thai food is great for sharing. There are dishes that are salty, there are dishes that have a lot of aromatic spices, and then there are some dishes that are really spicy. So we want you to eat all of that together to make a meal. Some dishes are going to test you, right? I promise. But not everything is spicy. We're on a mission to liberate Thai cuisine from the tyranny of peanut sauce. Not that I hate peanut sauce, I don't. I'm just sort of jokingly saying, because when people think of Thai food, there's peanuts and peanut sauce constantly. I felt like if I don't share what I know, if I don't challenge people to try something new and something different about Thai food, it may just disappear. I want to keep it going. I want these kind of flavors, I want this approach to Thai food to perpetuate and to continue. I'm a link on this chain.
All right, Jerry, Gin Khao, it kind of refers to let's eat, right?
It does. You know, Thai food has a special place for me because I became a vegetarian in the late 80s, which there was not a lot of veggie options at a lot of restaurants, but Thai food is very customizable.
Right.
I went to Thailand for that reason. I went there for a month because I just wanted to eat throughout the whole country. Gin Khao, they do a really great job at capturing this sort of street food. Like their ingredients are bold but still authentic. They use amazingly fresh ingredients, which I absolutely love. And the boldness never really gets outside, I think, of the spectrum of Thai food. So it's not gonna like completely surprise you, but if you are used to like the typical like, here's your scoop of brown rice, here's your curry type of thing on a plate, this is not the place for you, right? It's completely different. So I have my go-to appetizer, which is this mushroom curry mousse thing. It comes in a mason jar, and it's this mousse that's just lightly curried with mushrooms inside of it, and then it has a white foam on top, which I believe is coconut milk, and it comes with homemade fresh rice crackers, and you just scoop it out and spread it on, and it's just absolutely mouth-watering delicious. If you love mushrooms, this is definitely the dish for you to start with.
You know, I have to say, I love mushrooms. Love, love, love mushrooms. So we started with that. And it was so beautifully presented, and the rice cakes were not your ordinary rice cake. They were fabulous. But I didn't taste any mushrooms, so I was really disappointed. Although, that said, it was one of the highlights of what we ordered that evening.
Well, we started with a cocktail.
Yeah, there you go.
And they were great. The people were very sweet, a young staff. There's a bar there, they're shaking drinks. We had 3 snacks. We had a pickled vegetable with Romanesco and cauliflower and carrots and so forth, spiced peanuts, but the star of the snacks were pork rinds with chili and lime. It's like Rice Crisps to Porkville. I mean, as we squeeze the lime on it, they start to pop and crack, and as we taste them, they're cracking in our mouths, and we're laughing and talking. It was a hip place. Our friend had a Mai Tai, right? Delicious. And then the first thing we ordered was these ribs. They were hot paste ribs, and I can't remember all the ingredients, but there was an equal amount of paste to meat. Very hot. And
they were hot, baby.
Very hot. And one of the waitresses said to us, we have Thai people coming in saying they want it hotter. So I switched from a gin and club to a Thai beer, and I went for my second rib right away.
They don't, I like to call it honky hot. They don't do that there. Like it's Thai hot.
It's hot.
Like you get in Thai, which I love.
Yeah.
Did you feel like it was hot, Anne-Marie?
I totally felt like it was hot. And I am not a hot girl.
Yes,
So
you are.
It was a little overwhelming for me.
A little too much.
Yeah. We also ordered the squid and felt like it was a little bit too hot. That was one thing that we didn't finish. It was just too much.
They don't shy away from the heat at all.
Well, you know, you can
Which
order
I
little
love.
shots of coconut milk. You can ask them to douse the heat with a little shot of coconut milk. They'll bring
That
you
might
up.
have worked
Yeah.
well if our server was anywhere nearby.
Oh, busy
But
place,
We
busy night.
felt like our service was very slow. We were seated in the corner and it was extremely drafty. So I really wanted to like this place, but I was a little bit disappointed.
It's interesting. It's located at the bottom of a hotel, right? But when we showed up, it was a hoppin', hip place. And, you know, it's a young wait staff. They were very friendly, very knowledgeable.
So for my entree, I got, which I guess is a pad see ew on some level. If you've had Thai food, that's what you equate it to. And what I love about this dish is that the noodles are fresh. So that's the best part, right? You don't typically get that in a Thai restaurant. And, you know, it has the egg in it. It has little bits of tofu, and they're all kind of fried and tiny. It's crispy. It's probably the same thing you like about the pork rind part, right? It's just that crispiness. You know?
Those, how do you say the beans?
They're called the nam tak beans.
I call them a nice bowl of delish.
They're amazing.
You know, spicy, salty, herby, peanutty. It's kind of like these boats of these 1-inch creamy beans on top of this romaine boats. That
But they've been toasted in some rice powder,
yeah,
so you
exactly.
have a little crunchiness to
yeah,
them.
very good.
Yeah.
Then, you know what? We had this curried beef cheeks. And it was like if someone from the 50s of America asked someone in Thai to make them a stew. It's just this gelatinous gravy that, you know, don't need any knives. In fact, you just wanted to pick it up and put it in your mouth. So delectable.
And what about the fish?
So it was this beautiful whole rockfish that was stuffed with, you know, whole lemongrass. And it came to the table. It was beautiful. It just wasn't my favorite. It was okay.
What about the pork belly?
The pork belly was just falling off your fork. It was cooked perfectly. We really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And there were probably about 6 pieces in there. It was delicious.
What else did you have that was a favorite?
Dessert, Leslie.
Ah, of course.
The one that we went for was this black rice pudding, 3 different smaller bowls with a sweet coconut cream and then the coconut caramel and then toasty rice. So you can make it as sweet or as crispy as you want, and there was nothing left in that bowl.
All right, Jerry, your spot. Give us a quick summary.
You know, if you love Thai food like I do, and you're looking to level up your Thai experience, go to Khao now.
And Anne-Marie.
So I really wanted to like it. I was a little disappointed. Perhaps it's just not my type of food. I don't think I'll be returning.
All right, and Frank.
If you're looking for, you know, a hip place with small plates or a full Thai meal, give Khao a try.
All right, if you would like to try Khao, it's located at the corner of Ellis and Mason in the Park 55 Hotel in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-362-7456. It's open every day for lunch and dinner. Reservations are recommended, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $50. When it comes to wine bottles, does size matter? You bet it does. The traditional bottle size is what we in the wine biz call a 750, meaning 750 milliliters of wine. That serves about 5 to 6 glasses. When you move up the scale of size, the larger the bottle, the slower the wine ages, as there's more liquid to oxygen. For example, this 3-liter bottle is equivalent to 4 standard bottles of wine and would likely have aged for decades if I hadn't drunk it. It's okay to go small too, especially if you're drinking the wine immediately. A split is ideal for a glass of bubbly, while a half bottle is my go-to choice at restaurants, as it serves about 2 to 3 glasses. You can order a white and a red, making everybody happy. My favorite, however, is the Magnum, which is double a standard bottle. In other words, it's the perfect size for 2 when one's not drinking. Now glass size. I'm gonna go for the big one. Cheers. Oaxacan specialties stand out at Frank's unpretentious spot, where beautifully plated options burst with Southern Mexican flavor. There are some menu surprises too, from the handmade tortillas to, yes, potato chips. You'll find it all in downtown Pleasant Hill at Aguila Mexican Cuisine.
I came here in 1991, and my first job was a dishwasher, and from that moment I start to climb the ladder just little by little. You become to respect yourself and your profession, you know. My name is Daniel Patlan, and here's my restaurant El Aguila. When you see the Mexican flag, the first thing you see is the eagle, the El Aguila. Mexico is so many states that each town is different, you know, with different herbs, different ways to prepare the same things. Here in El Aguila, we try to do a good quality product because we're gonna eat that food too. You know, I'm gonna bring that food to my house because I don't have time to cook it too. So, and that is important for me. I don't wanna give anyone else the food that I don't wanna eat. What can I say about my wife? She's in charge of the drinks, margaritas. Actually, she's my boss. I mean, she's amazing. I learn from her, and I do this because I want to make her happy. Honestly, that is the most important thing for me, is to make my wife happy. My goal here in El Aguila is after you eat, you feel good yourself. You know, you feel healthy. You feel with energy. You know.
All right, Frank, how did you find this spot?
Actually, we were listening to the radio. It was advertising, you know, Mexican food made with Mary's chicken or Nyman Ranch beef. You know, integrity was right up our alley. So we went in, little taqueria style, and we noticed that the beautiful woman behind the counter, she had waited on us at a 4-star Italian restaurant, you know, years ago. Found out her and her husband started this wonderful. He's the chef, Chef Oscar,
right,
who has cooked at many 4-star restaurants, and he wanted to take something and really present it. So we ordered some stuff, and to my surprise, the next question was, would you like potato chips? Right? You know, potato chips. Where am I, right? Aren't I in a Mexican restaurant? And they're fresh fried potato chips, dusted with a little chili, served with a nice hot pureed salsa. It was great anticipation for your meal. So
totally spot on. This is an unexpected surprise.
Yeah.
I'm a mission burrito guy, so like I was pleasantly surprised by this place. You know, the salsa was great. It had a good amount of heat, probably maybe not too much heat. Everything was just delicious.
You know, I have to say, I felt like this was artfully presented Mexican cuisine that was definitely a step above.
Yeah.
We had the empanadas, which was served beautifully on the plate with some queso fresco on the bottom of the plate with shavings of crisp green cabbage on top that just added a little pop of flavor and texture to that dish. It was just beautiful.
it's the fresh and the cooked
That's
together, right?
That gives it the perfect combination.
I had a potato and poblano burrito. I figured that the tortilla was fresh made there, but it was like delicious. And like usually, you know, potatoes inside a burrito get overly cooked or mushy, or everything was just well done. They were firm and delicious and soft and tender all at the same time, and very flavorful.
My favorite thing to start off with is the tostada chicken tenga. So it's this chicken that's marinated with chipotle and caramelized onion, shredded on top of a crispy tostada. When you bite into the chicken and that final crunch at the end, it's
You're an all senses guy. You like the sound and the smell.
Yeah,
and the
well, that's
feel.
what it's all about.
Yeah, of course.
I never order a chile relleno because it's usually this, you know, poblano chili that's fried and stuffed with all this cheese,
and
right?
Gooey and, yeah.
Well, they do it different. They don't batter it, and they roast it or bake it, but inside is a picadillo, which is, it's kind of like ratatouille meets ground beef. So stuffed inside, nice and fresh, a little bit of cheese on top, you know, in a roasted tomato sauce. The best part about it that my wife and I believe is that when you eat there and you come home, you feel good. And that's very important.
Not heavy dishes.
Yeah, there's such an effort to it, right? When my wife had the taquitos this last time, and on one half of the plate, you know, it was a bed of roasted tomato sauce, and on the other half was a chile verde, and you didn't know until you spun the plate. Just the small things.
You can tell it's homemade and fresh and prepared with love, and that's what we really loved about it. So we had the carne asada burrito that was just a mission-style burrito wrapped beautifully in a brown paper wrapping and filled with deliciousness. We just loved everything.
Did you feel like you got value?
I definitely did. The food was wonderful. They could have charged me more, and I would have been okay with that.
And you're shaking your head, yes.
I totally agree with you. You are getting high quality, well-crafted, artisanally presented food that just was a treat to eat.
And not too spicy.
And not too spicy.
And what about desserts?
Okay, this place, they make these corn cakes. It's like a fallen souffle, and it's just soft and almost pudding-like on the inside.
We loved the Mexican wedding cookies. They had a little hint of lemon, you know, a nice round sized cookie that was more than a bite, and it was such a nice way to end the meal. They're calling my name.
All right, this is your spot. Frank, wrap it up for us.
If you're looking for fresh, delicious, authentic Mexican recipes that are a little bit upscale, and you want to feel good about the food you're eating, try El Aguila.
And
so
Emery?
if I'm in the East Bay, I think I'd make a detour to go back, and I definitely want to try a little bit more of their menu items.
And Jerry?
You know, you've never eaten at a taqueria like this, and that's actually a good thing. I mean, this place is on point, execution is amazing, it's delicious. I'm definitely going back.
All right, if you would like to try El Aguila Mexican Cuisine, it's located on Contra Costa Boulevard near Ellingwood Drive in Pleasant Hill. The telephone number is 925-682-4444. It's open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Reservations are not accepted, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $20. I have to thank my guests on this week's show, Anne-Marie Rossi, who uncovers an Iraqi gem right here in San Francisco at Jannah-Baghdad by the Bay, and Jerry James Stone, who kicks our spice tolerance up a notch at San Francisco's Khao. Finally, Frank Giovanni, whose counter-style Mexican fare with fine dining flair at Pleasant Hill's El Aguila Mexican Cuisine. So join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Can't decide.
So now it's your turn. We want to hear from you if you visited any of our Check Please restaurants. You can post a selfie on Instagram, join the conversation on Facebook, and tweet us anytime. And don't forget to visit our website. All the shows are there, along with my wine videos and notes about the wines we drink on set. You'll also find our fun new web series, Taste This, where we celebrate food and drinks around the Bay. Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by IRG as in-trend surfaces, quieter marbles and rare exotics. Over 10,000 slabs in stock today. IRG in Brisbane and Dublin and at marblecompany.com.
Mattress systems from European Sleepworks, working to improve comfort and wellness for over 40 years. At Adeline and Ashby in Berkeley. Online at sleepworks.com.
Oakland International Airport. Now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Sutter Health CPMC, 7,000 employees, nurses, and physicians caring for their communities every day. Your city, your hospital. CPMC2020.org. La Tourangelle Artisan Oils, French-inspired and handcrafted in Northern California. La Tourangelle creates natural, healthy cooking oils that add new flavor to everyday dishes.
Total Wine & More offers more than 8,000 wines from around the world and more than 2,500 beers, including hard-to-find seasonal brews and imports. Now open in Mountain View, Pleasant Hill, and Fremont.